Hello, my name is Tony, and in today's video, we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin, but obviously, about the current geopolitical situation with Iraq, Israel, the United States, and what move they're preparing, right? Because everyone's talking about the Strait of Hormuz, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Basically, this strait where 20% of the world's oil moves. And what we have here are basically oil tankers. So, Iran has already been attacked. It seems to be an oil tanker. And they say they're going to close the strait. They're going to close the strait, which basically means they're going to bomb the oil tankers that come out of this area. And what's interesting is that most of the oil that comes out of the Strait of Hormuz, or however you pronounce it, basically goes to India, but the most important one is the one that goes to China. And in China, basically, what we have is that this war could be against China, not against Iran, really. But, well, this is my assumption, where a very important part of the oil comes from Iraq. So, the whole move, why are we talking about oil now and Iraq and Iran? Because it's going to affect the markets. So, the whole game here is going to be, it seems, energy and what can happen in the Arab Emirates, because obviously, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman, Saudi Arabia, all these countries are allies of the United States and have already received missiles. In fact, Dubai has received 137 missiles, of which almost none have reached the ground in Dubai. So it's not a joke, it's not a joke. Now, the question here is, what we have the situation, as always, of wars, which is a drop in the markets and then a rise. What we don't know is how the timing will be. And we're going to figure it out with the Transcend Money community's order book, which is scarier today than when we saw it before they dropped the bombs in Iraq. So we're going to look at it because it's quite empty. We'll see in the previous hours before they dropped the bombs in Iraq. So let's look at it because it's quite empty. We'll see in the previous hours before the US futures markets open. In fact, what they're saying about Dubai is that they've been intercepted. The missiles that have been broken, the ones that have been fired. No missile has arrived. No building has been destroyed. It's just been the intercepts of the missiles that have been intercepted by Dubai's navy. And some drones are still entering, but there hasn't been any massive destruction of any building. So, it's maximum craziness, and what we can expect is chaos in the markets. Because, for now, the most important thing I think is that the price of Bitcoin has actually risen. We could call it, the price of Bitcoin has risen. Because, it has been a safe haven asset, we don't know. We'll also see how gold reacts. Silver, and copper, it seems, in my interpretation. But obviously, we don't know how. Everything will move, but, obviously, many countries, Pakistan will probably get oil directly from Moscow or some places around. And not only that, but we also have all the oil pipelines in this area. So we'll follow the next few hours, which are super important for the topic of futures. So oil, gold, silver, and Bitcoin, probably, will have an opportunity. What I think has surprised everyone is Bitcoin, which has risen. So, obviously, Bitcoin was designed for these moments of chaos. But we've never seen Bitcoin rise in a geopolitical tension like this, right? So, we'll have to be very attentive. We have these 6 to 7 hours left before the futures markets open. For example, the CME futures, the institutions that will buy or sell Bitcoins. Let's see the reaction of the order book. As you know, this is DeltaStrike VIP. You have it below in the description if you want to see the website. Now, there are 3 positions. The order book, or for those who don't know, welcome to the Transcend Money community. Many thanks to the subscribers and new likes. What we have here is the order book of the 50,000 prices, let's call it, that are in the order book right now. We're looking at the top 10 shorts and longs of Bitcoin futures on Binance. Same here. So, look, it's spectacular. In the rise, there's no money. Only this position of 200 Bitcoins at $69,000 right now, which seems to me is an extraordinary thing. So, these are yesterday's predictions. I'm going to take them out. We had support here. In fact, it has risen. I'm going to clean it up and we'll see today. Look, there have been very strong positions. The price hasn't moved, but the order book has been brutal. Look how there have been positions of 1,000. They've protected the price of Bitcoin. They haven't protected it. They've left it neutral. The market makers. Look, there are brutal positions. All of them are 1,000 Bitcoins. So, now the question here. As we get closer to, this is interesting because this is from the order book. Here's the thing. Now more important is as we get closer to, in fact, to 6 p.m. on Sunday, that's when the Chicago Merchandise Exchange markets open, which is where we'll see the big move, right? Now, it's going to be. We have these hours left to get to the market opening, and normally, look, if there's movement in those hours, it's strong. Look, the last Saturday, Sunday, the movement we had here, we had a peak. At 6 p.m. in New York, another peak. Look, the movements we had, the volume entry. So in these 6 hours in the afternoon in New York or Wall Street, as you want to call it, we have to be attentive. Well, we don't have to be attentive. There can be strong movement because strong capital can enter. And we have this unique geopolitical situation. So we'll have to be attentive, or it's an opportunity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours more or less for the CME. So, the question here now is, how to take advantage of the movement. We're going to first see where the money is now, the multimillionaires, and how the evolution will follow. Now, for the moment, we have scalping at 65, 62, and the other one we have is 51. This 51 that we've been saying for a long time could be a war. Well, look, we already have the war. Now, how is it going to escalate? Well, in all wars, what we have is a drop and then a recovery. So, we just have to get the timing right. If we enter strong, in a short position, be prepared to protect the position quickly, because at any moment, there can be a bombshell here and a bombshell there, and the situation is solved, and the price shoots up. So now we have to be very attentive, I think, to how institutional capital enters from Wall Street. Now it's 6 p.m. on Sunday in New York, on Wall Street. So, we'll see how liquidity enters the order books. And if it doesn't enter, that's even more dangerous, because then it's very easy to move, very cheap to move the price. Look, we're at around $700 million to move 20% and a bit. $7.80 and a bit to move it up 27%, which means it's half the price. Today it's at half the price of what it normally costs to move the price of Bitcoin. The market makers can move the price at half the cost. It's a 50% discount to move the price of Bitcoin now. So what we're waiting for is a violent movement, which we'll see if it happens or not, if they'll protect it or not. So for me, we're talking, this would be, well, in fact, 65. But now it's scalping. 65,890. And look, another one just came out. So 66, 62, and 51 are the bets right now and above. Look, there are no shorts. They just removed that. 69, they just removed it. Wow. Maybe we'll do a live stream for when the markets open on Wall Street, because this can be very strong. We'll have to follow the news, because we already said. We'll have to follow the news, because we already said. Yes, now, what are we waiting for? What we're waiting for is the response from Iran. Because even though they've made a response in the military bases of the allies in the Arab Emirates, they've said no, that it's not over yet. Because they've killed a lot of senior management in Iran, and now they're seeking revenge. So that's the short side. And the other is, of course, what will the United States do if they really make a strong attack? So we have military uncertainty, let's call it, or political uncertainty, but apparently now, based on what we've extracted from X, that you already know, you have below in the description X, and all the links from the Transcend Money community. I'll leave them here in the chat. Basically, it seems that the futures of oil insurance have gone up. Okay, you have the news here. I've left the link there for you, in case you want it, and it seems to me that it was this one. No, this isn't it, it was this one. Here it says that the futures of oil insurance have already gone up. It seems to me it was around here where I saw it. Well, now we need to review it. But basically, the premium. The Financial Times has confirmed that premiums have gone up 50%, so there's evident tension, $400 million. Tanker, $250 per voyage. So insurance has gone up. Basically, therefore, it's very possible that oil will go up, which is what we were discussing in the chat. Is it 100% guaranteed? No, but it's very possible that it will go up. So for me, now we've put here what the millionaires are betting on. We see that it's starting to come in. They've put in another $200. So capital is starting to come in less than 7 hours. 6 hours, let's call it. So the Wall Street futures markets can open, and capital can come in. Then we have manufacturing data too, but I don't think it will affect much. The most important thing will be the war issue. So for me, the play is, I'm going to look at how the order book comes in, depending on whether I see some craziness here, like 1,000 Bitcoins or something. That has already happened during the war. Look how they've been defending the price, or keeping it in range so the price doesn't move until the institutional futures markets of Wall Street open, so they can buy Bitcoin futures. So, for me right now, the direction isn't clear. With the information in the market, in the order book, for me, the only thing I see is total volatility, uncertainty, and there's still not enough information for me to know where the price is going. And remember, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks, I'd say, when we got this order. From here, 666. And we still have it in the top 10. And we said, for those who believe, in the 666, something big is coming, because this 666 isn't normal in the top 10 of the order book. We already know why that 666 was there. It's going to be fun to see them take out this 666 just before the war ends. Let's see what happens with this 666. That's the situation. So, for me, I don't like it now. It's the order book. If I had to put it in, I'd go with 62 right now. I don't know why they have 62. Well, 62 is a drop of, how much is 62? A drop of 7%. We said, well, that's 62. Could be 1, but I say for me, the volatility is so high that we need to follow the order book in real time, especially when we get to the CME openings. Okay, the fact is, the CME, I think, closed well. Or it's still got a hole right now. No, I think we still have the hole at 82. Look, 60. Look at the scam. Look at the bigger scam. Because the Bitcoin price has gone up to where the Chicago Merchandise Exchange closed, which closed at $65,750. And how much is Bitcoin now? $67, so it might drop a bit to stay around the $65.80. In fact, it closed at $65,880. That's where the CMI will open. That's the hole we'll have. Now it's bullish. That is, in theory, the price should drop, because right now the price is at $67 in this area. We're talking about a 2% drop. It could be that the price drops to where the CME closed on Friday, Chicago Merchandise Exchange for Bitcoin futures. So other possibilities that I was looking at. We're going to start with BingX because it has a much better API than MEXC, but MEXC has cheaper commissions and we're sticking with that. If you're trading on MEXC or BingX with a community link, you've already opened MEXC or BingX with the Transcend Money community link, you'll get DeltaStrike for free if you have a trading volume, okay? So then, in futures, an idea could be to trade oil, which in fact is already showing up. The countdown to when the market opens. On BingX, perpetual, futures, and oil. It shows us, for example, Brent, which is a closed market. So it says here 8 hours and 30 minutes until Brent opens. No text, 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 no text. In fact, the CMI opens first. Interesting. And the other one, the other oil. I've never traded oil, to be honest. But 6.39. This is the Brent. It seems to open later. 6.39 is when oil opens. So you can trade here if you want. On Binance, if you want to open an account, you already know the link is here below. In fact, I'd like almost more. This will also work for DeltaStrike. If you trade on Binance, the other story would be gold. How do we have it? This is traditional gold, right? It's XAUT. This is the Tether one. We have it there. Here's XAUT gold USDT. This is Tether gold. The USDT one. And the real gold is this one. And this one also opens, it's Wall Street. Futures, in about 6.5 hours, that's when real gold opens. And the Tether one can already be traded. It's interesting that the Tether one can be traded already, right? Yes, 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 the Tether one is being traded. The one with USDT, you already know what it is, not this one, okay? For me, those are the two options. This is the one we were looking at, Tether Gold, which is a token, but well, if we trust USDT, we have to trust the one from Tether. Okay, and these would be the two then. These are the ones I'm going to look at to open. I like trading Bitcoin more from here because look at the difference, gold, silver. Gold and oil aren't the nice thing about crypto, right? And this might be why it's gone up a bit. Because you can trade futures here, real futures aren't that important, right? Because it's in USDT, but in spot, you can withdraw Bitcoin from the exchange. But you can't withdraw gold or a barrel of oil, right? So it's paper trading. And Bitcoin is real Bitcoin. So we'll leave it here. But I'm starting to like Binance. Let me know in the comments if someone is already using it. If you're using it in Spain. Because what I like most is this API for trading robots. And it also has a lot of automations for green trading robots. So we're good. I wish everyone a lot of luck. You already know that. You have all the links below in the description. You have MEXC and Binance, which is what I recommend, and Telegram and Twitter, okay? So good luck to everyone. Maybe we'll do a live stream in about 6 hours to see how institutions enter the markets. I'll be following it closely because maybe we'll get a good opportunity. So good luck to everyone with your positions, health, love, and fortune, and we'll see you in the next video.